Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade for Celebrity Page, and I'm joined by Keesha Sharp, and we're talking about Lethal Weapon, Wednesdays on Fox. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. Keesha Sharp, I think you are on a mission to play the wife of every famous person ever. Thurgood Marshall. You're Trish Murdoch.
Yes,
Lethal
yes.
Weapon's one of my favorite all-time movies.
Yes.
You're Johnny Cochran's
Yes.
wife. Who's next?
I don't know. I'm going to go research that. It's been great. It's been great to pair the women behind the great men, because I think it's important to know that the woman that was behind them was just as strong and was holding them up to be the men that they ended up being.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I'm so, first of all, the show is great.
Thank you.
I'm such a geek about the movie because I've seen all the Lethal Weapons a million times.
yeah,
How
me
cool
too.
is it to take on that?
Oh, I got to tell you, it's been amazing. I'm a Lethal Weapon fanatic. When I talk about the films, I love them. So when I heard they were making it into a TV series, I think everybody felt the same way when they were like, why? Why are you messing with my movie? But once I read the script, I knew that it was fabulous. And so I wanted to be a part of it because I love Lethal Weapon. And when I got that call that I had booked it, I cannot tell you how my husband and I would look at each other and be like, you're on Lethal Weapon.
That's awesome.
So it was great.
You get to work with Damon, who is one of the funniest guys in the business.
Yes, he is.
What's it like to work with him? What's he like on set?
Funny. I had to make my Trish fall in love with him. One of the reasons is for his humor, because otherwise I wouldn't get through any of the scenes without laughing. So laughter was okay because she, as Trish, is laughing at her husband because he makes her laugh. But honestly, he really does make, and the same with Klain and Damon together.
They're great.
They're
They
so
work great.
funny together. And then to add Trish to that dynamic, it just works. The chemistry is really great, and they keep you laughing. They keep you on your toes. It's great.
You know what I like about this, Trish? In the movie, Trish wasn't a really high-powered, independent woman. You saw flashes.
Yeah.
Your Trish is, she's strong, man.
Yeah.
She's strong.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Trish and getting to portray a strong female character on television.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's great that they decided to make her a 2016 woman. And I always say this, there's nothing wrong with stay-at-home mom. I think that's beautiful and it's really hard work. But they decided to make her this woman who is the breadwinner of the family, who is a high-powered defense attorney, who's a loving wife, a loving mother. And to see this character on screen is important to me. I think it's important for women of all ethnicities to watch and see this woman do everything that she does, and for them to think that they can do it too. It's important, and I love to be the person portraying her.
You guys have been greenlit for season 2. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anytime you get greenlit.
It's congratulations,
It's
right?
it's a tough business.
Yes, it
I don't
is.
care what you got. It's a tough business.
It
But
is.
why do you think this show works?
Oh, wow. I think it works because it has everything. It's like the perfectly balanced show. We have heart, we have comedy, we have drama, and we have action. And I think all those things really balance a whole show that has everything. And there's no other show out there like our show. And I think that's why people feel connected to it. And you get to escape into the show. It's not dark. You know, it's not a dark show. It's just perfect. If I must say so, it's like a perfect show, and I think that's why it's doing so well.
Even though you get the call and you're like, I'm going to be part of now, I can say the Lethal Weapon
Yes,
franchise,
yes.
there's got to be some worry. Like you said, hey, we need to make sure we get this right
Yeah.
because we're taking on a legacy that is so beloved.
Yeah.
Was there a worry? Oh my God, what if this isn't right?
I have to say, before I read the script, yes, absolutely. But once everyone that's involved read the script, we knew that we were honoring the franchise. We knew that if I could be happy with it, and I'm fanatical about the Lethal Weapon movies, I knew that everybody out there that are fans would love it as well. So I was just excited. I was excited for everyone to see it because I knew that they would love it. I knew that they would say, wow, you guys got it right.
You get to work with some incredible people. Courtney Vance, obviously.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, I was just watching the OJ miniseries,
Yeah.
and talk about becoming the character.
Johnny, yes.
When you're on set with somebody like that and you watch him, because we all know Johnny Cochran.
yeah.
It's not like, oh, this is a fictitious guy and
Yeah,
he's bringing him to life.
absolutely.
You know Johnny Cochran. We all watch the OJ trial. When you see him becoming this guy, what's going through your head?
That he's going to get every accolade he deserves. That's the truth. I knew.
Courtney, you're getting an Emmy.
That's right. I knew that was going to happen. I couldn't wait for people to see it. I knew he had embodied this character, and I knew people would know because you know who Johnny Cochran is. Everybody in this country that are a certain age, we watched that show, right? We watched it.
You're calling me old.
No, am I calling myself old?
I'm about to be 40, so I guess I'm getting old.
You're not getting old. 40 is not old.
It's a new 20.
That's right. Say it. It's 20.
20.
That's right.
Keesha Sharp quote.
But yes, I think we knew who Johnny was. God bless his soul, but we knew who he was. So we knew by watching Courtney and seeing every aspect of this person, he brought him to life again. And I knew that he would be rewarded. And it was no surprise to me.
Did it blow you away, the reaction that the miniseries got? It became the biggest show of 2016.
I have to say yes, and that's why I only got to see what I shot. So I never saw the scripts. And so I didn't know what the show was going to be, if it was going to be great. I expected it would. It's Ryan Murphy, and everyone that was involved are so talented. Of course, it's going to be great. But watching it, I was like, oh, this show is good. And I'm in it. But yes, I didn't know. So I sat down and I was like you. I was watching this show and was like, wow, what's going to happen next? So I was excited to be a part of it. I did not know it was going to be as big as it is, but I'm not surprised.
You're also working, you're talking about treasures and riches and co-stars Sterling K. Brown next with, not Sterling K. Brown.
No.
It is Sterling K. Brown.
He's in it too.
For some reason, I was thinking Chadwick Boseman.
He's in it too.
Yeah, they're all. Anybody you're not working with? I'm like, I literally was about to say. So Sterling is playing Thurgood.
No.
Chadwick is playing Thurgood.
Yes, and Sterling is playing a character. I won't tell you too much about it, but he's playing. It's really like the O.J. Simpson trial of the 1940s, and Sterling is actually playing the O.J. Simpson, if that makes any sense. The person accused of doing something. Yeah, I won't tell you any more than that because it's just such a great film. It's not just about Thurgood Marshall. You find out a lot about him, but it's really about this case that happened in Connecticut in the 1940s, and we're bringing it back. We shot it in Buffalo, New York, though, because it's. I don't know if you know anything about Buffalo, but it still contains that old school feel. Still 1940s.
Listen, I understand.
It's beautiful.
That was the most PC way of going about saying what you were saying.
It's beautiful, and we could shoot a 1940s movie there. But I think
Keesha wants to be let back into Buffalo. She's like, I gotta make sure my words come out correctly so I can go back to Buffalo one day.
No, you'll see it. You'll see how beautiful it is. The movie is in Buffalo, but it's a great movie, and you get to learn a little bit more about Marshall and some of this early case that really. That really molded him into the man he ends up being, which is the first African-American Supreme Court justice, and the person why we get to go to school together, Brown versus Board of Education. But I think people are going to really enjoy this movie. It's not a biopic. I want to say that. So people are like, oh, it's going to be boring. Not that it would be, but it really is about this case, and Thurgood was a part of this case.
When you look at, we're coming off, wow, what a wacky Oscars this was.
I know, it was crazy.
But one of the things that was great was we saw Mahershala win, we saw Viola win, and I feel like diversity in Hollywood, although it's still an issue, it's getting better.
It absolutely is.
To be part of projects like Thurgood and to be part of projects like Marshall and Lethal Weapon and O.J. That really talk about racial injustices or really tackle issues that need to be tackled. What does that mean to you?
Oh, wow. For me, it solidifies one of the reasons I do what I do. We want to make a difference in this world, a positive change in this world. And I think a great way to start is entertainment. I think what we do, it influences people. And it's important that we put out stories that people can see themselves and rise above. It's like the Trish. I think women looking at Trish and little girls looking at Trish can say, I can do that. I can do all those things. I can still follow my dream. I can be a mom if I want to, be a loving wife. And I think it's important to see those roles. I think what you're saying in terms of diversity for this year's Oscars, I think showing different people's stories is important. And we talk about stereotypes and seeing certain people and only in certain spots. And I always want to say, listen, those people, there are certain things that people have to deal with, like I don't know if you know this, but Naomi Harris was having an issue with the role she played in Moonlight. Yes. She wasn't sure if she wanted to play it. because she was like, "Do
She's
we
been
really
very
need
open.
to?
She's been very open
Do we
about
really
that.
need to see another crack-addicted African American woman?" I say, listen, there are those stories that need to be told. I think the problem is we need a balance. We need to see those stories because they're real, but we also need to see that story and that story and that story. It's not one. We shouldn't see certain race in just in one aspect of this world. We fit everywhere, and I think that's the issue. Don't stop telling people stories if that's a story that needs to be told, but we need to tell every story for everybody: Latino, African American, Asian, gay, white, black. All those stories are real stories, and I think those stories need to be told.
I was thinking about with Lethal Weapon, obviously you and I are fans because those are 80s and 90s movies.
Yeah.
But there are people, as I meet, that were born in the 90s who may have never been exposed to Lethal Weapon. So this could be their first exposure.
Yeah.
How cool is it to say, I am now the Lethal Weapon for this generation?
I never thought of it that way. So it's pretty amazing to say that because I know how I feel about Lethal Weapon. So to have kids feel that way about our show, it's pretty surreal, and also maybe creating new fans for the movies, for them to go back and look at the movies that they didn't see or know, and I think that's great as well. But I love the idea of us being their Lethal Weapon.
The original star of Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson, made a comeback this year. What do you
did.
think? What do you think about the comeback of Mel Gibson?
Well, first of all, I think he's extremely talented. He has trouble with some personal stuff in his life he needs to work through, and it feels like maybe he's worked through that. But I don't know. I don't know his personal life.
We're
getting that impression. But I will say he's always been extremely talented. Very talented as a director. His work has been so beautiful. So I'm not surprised that once he got that whatever's going on in his personal life together, that we can focus on his art. And his art is pretty incredible. So it's nice to see.
Congratulations on Lethal Weapon.
Thank you.
Everybody make sure to check out Lethal Weapon. This incredible lady is playing an incredible lady on the show. So congratulations.